Hey everyone, we're back here for episode 2 of 2022 in my bee yard. Kind of recap, last week we switched over to this bucket feeder, put the migratory top on there. And this week there's a couple of concerns that I want to kind of address or look into here. So I put this Reflectix in during the middle of the week, and I'm not sure what's going on, but every time I check the bucket feeder, they're taking it down really slow, which I expected. I only put 2 small holes in the top, so they can't get a lot at a time. I wanted to do that on purpose, kind of do a trickle feed like Bob talks about to stimulate brood rearing. But the concern I have, right here on this corner of this Reflectix, it's dripping syrup off of that and down here, and it's running down the front. I'm not sure how it's getting onto the Reflectix and running out. I cut a pretty big hole in the middle of this Reflectix, so it can't drip straight down onto it. So I don't know what's causing that. So I'm gonna get in there and take a look at it, but it's causing some ants and stuff to come up here. I mean, yeah, it's just dripping down. I don't know why. So, and it's definitely not water. We did get rain in the middle of the week, but it's sticky. It's sugar syrup. So the other thing, we did get rain midweek. And 2 days after the rain, I came out here and checked. I flipped this bucket feeder over, and there was a whole bunch of condensation on the lid underneath here. So I don't know that a lot of water actually ran through there, but it definitely probably got around this, and then, you know, humidity and moisture and whatnot, and it just collected on that lid. So I flipped that over and I dried it off real good, and then I put it back. So let's tear into the hive real quick and see what it looks like. Okay, so just getting that bucket feeder off there and in some good lighting here, I can already see the edges of the wood are soaked. And so what I'm thinking is probably happening is where I cut this hole, that sugar syrup may be saturating into that wood, and then it's leaking across the lid, and that's how it's getting on here. So let's pop it off and see if we can confirm that theory. Hey, there's a small hive beetle. It's the first one I've seen this year. It's gone. Okay, so no. So my theory about that is incorrect, and it doesn't look like any sugar syrup is running across the top here. So it's got to be underneath the Reflectix. Okay. Yeah, so, it's trying to blow away on me. Let me throw this underneath there. Okay, so this frame right here is completely soaked. Yeah. There's a lot of bees in this top box, and there wasn't before. I'm assuming that's because they've come up to feed. But yeah, this frame right here is really, really wet. And it's, I don't know, it's like a mixture of sugar syrup and water. It's not as sticky as just like pure sugar syrup. So I'm thinking when it rained, there might have been some water that got in there. I'm really hoping it wasn't a bunch of water and it didn't make a big mess down below. If you guys have any suggestions on what I can do to seal that bucket feeder to keep water from getting in there, please let me know. There's an ant. The bees have not been propolising it, so they haven't even put any propolis around it at all. So I don't know if there's some other thing I can do to seal that up to keep the rainwater from getting in there. That would be very helpful. The other thing I might do while I'm in here, this pollen patty's basically all gone, but the other thing I might do while I'm in here is reduce them down to just one box, because it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, there's probably 5 seams that are just basically empty. There's only a couple of bees. Now granted, there's four seams of bees in that top medium, but still, they're not gonna fill this whole bottom box with the amount of bees they have in there right now, so may reduce that down. A little surprised I saw a hive beetle already. It took until June last year before I saw one. Hoping that they've expanded the brood nest a little bit since the last time that we were in here. I think there were 2 frames of brood last time. Just a little bit of honey there. Nothing going on in that frame. Although this patch here, if you can see that, is still there, so that still has still not hatched. I'm gonna open one up real quick and see if it got chilled or not. I feel like it's been in there for a while. Yeah, that bee was never gonna develop, so that's all chilled brood. They'll clean that out. I'm not gonna mess with it. This frame right here should have a good amount of cat brood. It did last time. And I don't think they would be emerging just yet. By the way, today is Sunday, March 20th, and it is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Yep, so still a good amount of cat brood on there, and there's some larvae that they are just starting to cap over. And some bees have emerged, and she's already laid eggs back into those cells because there's some very young larvae in those open cells that you're seeing there. Same thing over here. A lot of cat brood, and then all the open cells either have eggs or young larvae inside. So she's relaying as they are emerging. See if we can see the queen anywhere. I'm not seeing any damage down here at the bottom from the syrup dripping down this time, and I want them to be able to eat it in 4 or 5 days, especially since I just saw a beetle for the first time this year. Let's see what this looks like. So a lot of brood again. There's some baby bees I can see that have just recently emerged. All those open cells in the middle that have emerged have been a couple of spots they put nectar in, like 2 or 3 cells, but the rest are eggs and young larvae, so she's backfilling there as well. Sheet of brood on this side. A lot of baby bees. We've got 6 weeks until our nectar flow, our heavy nectar flow starts. So they've still got some time. Here's the first little bit of drone brood I'm seeing right here at the top of the frame. A couple of little bullet cells. Still don't see the queen. Okay, so we're looking at 1, 2, that's 2 full frames of brood there. Let's see if there's any brood on this one. Last time this frame was pollen or bee bred, I believe. Yeah, same thing. Pollen and bee bred. So yeah, I think I'm definitely going to reduce this down to 1 box unless they've got brood in the top box. I'm not sure what's going on here. There's a bee that's like, I don't know if it's stuck upside down at the bottom of that frame or it's dying. Not really sure. See if I can flip it back over and see what's going on here. Oh, there it goes. She was just stuck. So I flipped her over and she walked off. That was weird. But the reason that I'm thinking she might have went up top is because they put nectar right here, or sugar syrup, and it may have blocked her off from moving over, so she may have went up. I put this empty frame here last week because I was hoping that she would start laying there, but it's so weird. I'm gonna do the same thing again and put empty frame next to the brood nest. Let's see if she'll come back down and lay there. Do a little frame manipulation. I don't mind that so much this early in the year when there's not very many bees like this. Later in the year I won't do that at all. I'm going to pull some frames out of this top box real quick and see what we've got. I don't want to set the box back on there and do it because she may run back down to the bottom box, which has happened to me before, and then I couldn't find her, and I ended up finding her on the bottom box. Okay, there's no brood up here in this part. Nope, there she is. She did come up. So she's right there, about the middle of this medium frame in the upper box. If I don't see any brood, oh, there's eggs, so flatten this out a little bit so that box will fit on there without pushing the frames up. Okay, let's go back on here, girls. Okay guys, so I lost track of the timer on my camera and it stopped recording right as I was moving to this top box. So I'll just kind of recap. You know, they were small enough in number that I was going to reduce this down to one box, but what I suspected was that I couldn't find the queen in the bottom box. I suspected she moved up and started laying eggs, and sure enough, there are 2 frames in this top box that are laid up with eggs. And this is a medium, that's a deep. I really can't move these 2 frames of eggs down there and swap frames out, but I also really wanted them to be in one box. So I'm not sure what to do. I guess I'll just leave it. You guys have any suggestions, let me know. Another thing that I tried to show, but the camera was off by then. So this is that corner of Reflectix that was leaking, and I was actually I've already done it so it's dry now, but I was able to squeeze out a lot of liquid that was just stuck in there. I still don't know how, with this large of a hole in this Reflectix, which is much larger of a hole than that opening in the migratory lid, and that is right in the center. I don't know how sugar syrup would be getting into this to where it can leak down off that front edge and then down the concrete of this hive stand. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just need some advice, guys, on what you think I should do in terms of reducing them down to one box, even though there's eggs up here, or what I should do with this Reflectix situation. They're not propolizing that bucket feeder. We're going to get rain again tomorrow, so I really don't want to keep having a situation where I'm getting moisture and liquid running into the hive like that. It's drawing in ants, not a lot of ants, there's only been a few, but it's still drawing in some ants. The problem is if I don't use this Reflectix, there's a big gap under the migratory lid on this front left side. I guess it's not very, very straight. The other thing, and the concern with that for me is not only just like an entrance for ants, hive beetles, whatever else wants to get in there, but also whenever it does rain, is rain just going to be able to fall in there? I'm not sure. Not sure which situation's better here. So, you know, I already did this with when it rained. Let me try it one time without it. Without the Reflectix and see how it does with just the board or the migratory cover. We'll do that. Yeah, it's just a gap. It just, see that how it's teetering. I don't know. I guess it's just not very straight pieces of wood that were used. They're just bowed, which is unfortunate. I actually think I had this the other way, possibly. Let me see. I almost wish that if I ever made a migratory cover myself, I would make it with some overhang, like an inch at least, so that way if there was a gap and it rained, I wouldn't have to worry so much about it just being able to get in there. But I mean, this hive's in the woods and there's a lot of tree coverage, so probably not a big deal. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not an expert on that. This is my first time using a bucket feeder and a migratory cover. And then I'm not sure what to do about the box situation. I may just let them grow in there since they've got brood in 2 boxes. We've got 6 weeks until the honey flow. So hopefully they just keep expanding, but I just don't want to mess anything up here. I'm going to turn this over again and let it all drain, create a vacuum before I put it on there. That's the other thing I've been doing. I've been doing this, so if I take it off, that way it's not just running a whole bunch of sugar in there all at once. So it's just barely dripping out now, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. Crush that ant. Okay. There's that. I got marks up here so I know where to put this bucket feeder so it's centered up over that hole just right. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for stopping by. That's all I've got for now. Like I said, if you can answer any of my questions down in the comments that I had, I would appreciate that. And if you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments and I'll answer. I respond to the comments daily, multiple times a day. I'll check it. So thank you for stopping in, and we'll see you on episode 3.